Hello Internet, my name is the Golden Stalfos, and today we're going to be continuing our series where we talk about all the things that are wrong with the world. But we're going to be pivoting from economics to politics. Now, getting the broad level understanding of a political system is a lot easier than an economic system, so I'm just going to kind of speed run through these. Let's start with the two most common political systems in today's world: a republic and a dictatorship. A republic is a system in which individuals vote for elected officials, and those elected officials make the laws that everyone has to follow. And in a not fucked up by capital world, this system might actually be good, but since people have to earn a living and campaigns cost money, it takes a lot of money to even become a politician, which means that most poor people who have good ideas can't. And it also means that anyone who wants to run has to earn the political favor of the wealthy, which means that their policies will almost certainly benefit the wealthy at the expense of everyone else, which sucks. BTW, sorry if my voice sounds weird, my throat is really sore. By contrast, a dictatorship is when someone falsely claims to have won an election even though they clearly didn't and no one believes them. And then literally everyone just has to do what they say for all of time because they control the military or whatever. Quite frankly, I'm not sure why modern dictators pretend to be elected presidents. No one believes them, and it's very obvious, and it's really weird that they're lying about that instead of just admitting that they're dictators. I don't get it. Of course, there are other systems. There's a monarchy, which is just a dictatorship, but with a fancier name. Monarchs typically don't pretend to be rightly elected. Instead, they just say God gave them the right to rule 10 billion years ago, and their family has ruled ever since. Which is equally bullshit, but for some reason they get away with it. I don't know. It's weird. I suppose I should note that the UK is technically a monarchy, but the Queen has no real power. I mean, she technically has power, but, no one would actually listen to her if she went off the rails and did something crazy, you know? She's really just a figurehead, which is weird, but, harmless, I guess. There's only a handful of very small countries that still have a monarchy, and most of them are countries that function on resource extraction, kind of like a lot of dictatorships do. So, what are you going to do? I mean, revolution is what you should do, but whatever. And then there's the systems that can overlap or not. A lot of these have fallen out of favor for various reasons, but let's just kind of run through them. So, a meritocracy is a system in which people benefit based on their skill and qualifications and experience rather than family ties. And that hasn't really been done for a long-ass time. A lot of people consider certain periods of ancient China to be meritocratic, but kinda. I mean, there was still definitely some issues with the fact that poor people didn't have access to the same kind of education as rich people and thus couldn't attain the same kind of merits as rich people, but whatever. And a lot of people who are very stupid try to say that modern capitalism is meritocratic, but that's obviously not true because not everyone has equal access to capital and therefore can't earn the merits that require lots of capital. So, no, it's not. Then to slightly pivot on that is oligarchies, when the government is more or less completely controlled by a small group of very powerful people, usually people who follow a family lineage, but not always. And this might sound absurd to you until you realize that there are people like the Kennedys and the Bushes who have lots of political power across multiple generations in multiple levels of government because, yeah. And it's not just those two families, by the way. There's a dozen or so of them. But yeah, it's pretty fucked up. And that's just in America, by the way. Other countries have different oligarchies going on. And companies can have oligarchical influence as well. It's not just politically powerful families. Then there's political direct democracy, which hasn't been used for a really long time and really wasn't ever fully implemented. See, the original democracy of Athens, they had this system where certain people, by which I mean land-owning Greek men, were considered citizens, and everyone else was considered not a citizen, and citizens could vote on all the issues directly, like in this big council meeting thing. But, that was a society that was built on slavery and misogyny, so, obviously women and poor people and slaves didn't get to vote. And so it could really be argued that there's never been an actual direct democracy as a governing political system because the original one wasn't. These are by no means an extensive list, but these are the things that get talked about the most. And they all have their pros and cons. Obviously having a single person be in charge of everything means that decisions are streamlined and can be performed faster. But it also means that whatever dumb, bad idea that one person has, everyone else has to go along with whether they like it or not, which obviously leads to a shit ton of problems. In democracies and republics, people vote on things as a collective, which slows down the decision-making process, but could, in theory, lead to better decisions overall, except there's other interests involved besides just the people saying what is best for them, and therefore it usually doesn't. It's also worth noting that most republics have these things called political parties, which exist to sow unnecessary divides between people and slow down the decision-making process by arguing over a bunch of dumb bullshit that no one actually cares about, instead of doing the things that people actually want to make their lives better. See, the way political parties work is they say, hey, we're the party that wants these things, and we hate that other party who wants those things. And then try and pit the citizenry against each other in this bizarre pseudo-civil war system where some people just it's really fucked if you think about it for half a second. These rich, powerful people created these parties that don't do anything but just say they're opposed to each other and spend all of their time complaining about each other, and everyone has to get involved in complaining about the other political parties instead of just saying hey, can we do this thing that makes our lives better, please? And can you just shut up and do it instead of bitching at each other for no reason? Because all you're doing is wasting everyone's time and money and energy and life forever. You worthless dregs dragging down society. Can you please fucking stop? Make no mistake, no matter what the political party says they believe in, they don't care about you. They don't care about the issues. All they care about is getting elected and making money. That's it. It sucks. And yes, that includes all political parties, regardless of what policies they claim to be in favor of, or how small they are, or what new ideas they claim to have. They're just in it to make money. That's why they have a party in the first place, because the party itself is a machine to ensure new elections and more cash flow. If you don't believe me, Google political machines and read the paragraphs about it that are literally in your history textbooks. They aren't even fucking trying to hide it. It's ridiculous. No, don't get me wrong. It's not all 100% bad. There are flaws in the system, but, there are alternative systems you could try maybe, and some people's lives are okay. One very commonly proposed alternative to the current systems is anarchism, which a lot of people think means chaos because that's the dictionary definition of the word. But when being used to describe a political system, it more means getting rid of political hierarchies and allowing people to organize in horizontal structures, which basically just means direct democracy with extra steps, and each step makes the process less powerful because power is bad. But that also means that each step is less capable of doing things because you need power to do things. And while that does act as a check against tyranny, it also means that the cool things you want to happen are harder to make happen, which is counterproductive. But whatever. I know some anarchists will be very annoyed with that description, but There are some people who actually believe we should just completely dismantle all the government systems and just live in small communities that rule in whatever way that small community feels is best for them, you know? And that's I guess you can do that. Like you can go be Amish if you want. Like they're in Pennsylvania. They take recruits or converts, I guess. But I also don't see that as a particularly compelling option because it again robs humanity of its ability to do really cool, impressive things. Because in order to do really cool, impressive things, you need lots and lots of people working on it at the same time. And if everything's being run in small communities, then you can't get lots and lots of people working on the same thing at the same time because they're all fragmented into smaller communities. This is, of course, a key aspect of true communism and the main reason why I don't think it will ever succeed, in the broad sense. And when I say that, I mean, obviously the system will sustain itself and people will live under it and be fine. But you'll never be able to, launch a mission to Mars or explore the Marianas Trench because everyone will be busy taking care of their neighbors in their own small community and not fucking around with the shit outside. It's a fine way to live if all you care about is your own personal happiness and maybe that of the people who live right around you, but it doesn't push humanity forward at all, and it really can't. And that's why I don't like it. Now, from the perspective of day to day life and how good an individual person's life is, all of the other systems I've outlined have more problems than communism or anarchism do. But they also have more ability to do new, innovative things and push people forward in new ways. And quite frankly, I don't really mind my day to day life being a little bit worse if it means we can find the cure to cancer and explore space and regrow woolly mammoths and shit. That stuff is way too cool and important to just ignore. But whatever. So that's a brief overview of the currently extant political systems and a few of the alternative options out there. In the future, we'll be talking at length about a replacement system that I actually think would be cool. So yeah, get subscribed to see that in the future. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next life. Laters. Hey, Endcard here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Seriously though, please subscribe. I have no subscribers. It's sad. If you want to find me on other social media stuff, you can do that at the Golden Stalfos on basically everything. Links to that are in the description, as well as to some charities I like but am obviously not affiliated with. I also have a Patreon if you like me so much that you want to give me money, though obviously only do that if you have money to burn, and if you do have money to burn, they're the charities I mentioned before. They probably need it more than I do. Mad ups to my girlfriend for doing all the editing for these videos. It's a really big help. Oh, and I occasionally stream on Twitch, so follow me there so you don't miss it. I don't have a formal schedule because when I tried to have a formal schedule, I couldn't keep to it. So, oh well. Okay, thanks. Bye.